Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives? Hello and welcome to another episode of So Are the Days of Our Lives. I'm your host, Olivia Willis, and today I have a guy I just knew that you were going to be the right, audience partner to talk through a wacky episode, and I have found the perfect wacky episode for Dustin Bronson. Dustin, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Olivia. I'm honored that you presented me with the opportunity of watching this episode, and it was a delight.
I'm so glad. Yeah, I feel like over the years we have connected on similar TV. We're on a similar TV wavelength. So I was like, Dustin's going to come with the energy I want for an episode like this.
Well, and I love that you're referring to it as TV when it is strictly reality TV that we're connecting on.
That's true. But I think so we're both actors, theater actors. And I think theater actors and all actors kind of can be really precious about art. And so a lot of people are very dismissive of reality TV. And so when I find someone else who's like, no, I take reality TV extremely seriously and respect it with my life, then I say we are kindred spirits. And I think you're also going to pick up what they're putting down on Days of Our Lives.
Yeah, I'm picking it up and I'm picking it up and I'm in awe.
Do you have any background with watching soap operas or anything or are you coming in completely cold?
I was thinking about this today, actually, before I watched the episode. I'm almost coming in totally cold, but I do have a very young memory of soap operas. When I was a very young child, pre-kindergarten, I went to daycare. And in my daycare lady, her daycare was like a converted garage. And I grew up in California, so it wasn't it was warm. It wasn't we were freezing out there. We weren't these
it was paradise. Yeah.
It was. So, but every time, there was nap time. Everyone would lay out mats and we'd take a nap. But I've always been pretty bad at sleeping and naps in general. And I guess even at this age. So I would often lay down for a few minutes and then I'd go into the house and she would be sitting in her living room, and the kids never went into her house. So we never passed that threshold, but I would lay on her lap while she watched soap operas and smoked a cigarette. And I would just lay there or sit on the couch and she'd be watching soap operas and it was crazy adult content that I was consuming as a 4-year-old.
Yeah, it's depending on the soap opera, I know they got very racy back in the day.
Oh yeah.
If you're talking passions, but
oh yeah.
Even if it wasn't a sex scene, the odds are that someone was possessed by the devil, there was slapping and name calling happening, and your little brain was what do adults watch? I
never talked to my mom about it or anything, and also she was smoking a cigarette with me sitting there, and it wasn't I'm not that old. It wasn't the
Well, that's an incredible uncovered memory of just soap opera's influence on a young mind. I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
So Days of Our Lives, once I discovered it, it became my go-to comfort watch. Just if I need to throw something on the TV without thinking, I always know I have a backlog of 285 Days of Our Lives episodes that I'm behind on. What's your go-to comfort TV of just this is gonna hit the spot, I gotta unwind?
It used to be this show, and I recently have rediscovered it, and so it's been almost on my television at any moment where I have any sort of break, is The Challenge.
Oh,
you know about it was originally called Real World Road Rules Challenge, and then it evolved to just The Challenge. And similar to not as many episodes,
so many seasons,
but so they actually, and I can't believe they're still making it, and it's still the same people, but they just premiered a new season.
That's crazy.
The other day, and so right now, and I only just rediscovered it because I was in a hotel, and Isabel and I, my wife, turned on the TV, and there was an entire channel dedicated to The Challenge, and I started
the Challenge channel.
Yeah, it literally was. And I was like, I can't believe this. And I started showing her the show, and she fell in love with it too. And she started to understand who I was.
In a deeper,
Because,
more meaningful way.
so I have been watching that. I burned through, like, within just the last few months, like many seasons.
So where do they get, because it used to be people from the real world would then come, or was it just the team behind the real world?
No, so it was always like the people from the real world or Road Rules, which was another reality show and so they would take the most interesting people or most athletic people from those shows, and then they would put them in this challenge situation. And then what happened is the people would return year after year after year after year. And then, like, their family members, like, because there's one version called Bloodlines. So, like, people brought their cousins and they're like, you're my blood. And so, and then those people, like, so it just has become, and it's like they've all dated each other throughout the years and married each other and divorced. And so every season I get excited because, like,
there's a new connection.
I've been weeping watching this show because, like, just recently they had a dedication episode for a person who died. And so they had a special challenge for this person who died.
Oh my God. That's literally what happens with Days of Our Lives. You connect with these people, you have a bond with these characters, and they're on your TV for 40 years. And then you have to deal with the changing phases of life and loss.
I found it so beautiful. And I truly did find it beautiful when in this particular episode that I watched,
yes,
they do the flashbacks.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is incredible because, like, so seldomly do you actually have the person when they're that young.
Yes. To be like, this is where they started. It's so nuts. It's so nuts. Okay. I think we're about ready to dive into the recap. I mean, we have a lot of ground to cover, literally and figuratively, on this episode.
They had me at the first word of the episode, yes. Which, yeah. So I'm hooked.
I can't wait. Okay, let's dive in. We are talking about Days of Our Lives, season 60, episode 195, which aired Friday, May 23rd, 2025. The episode begins at the hospital with Dr. Kayla Brady at her desk wearing the most comically pink reading glasses ever made. I think for such a serious episode, we start with such a funny pair of glasses, and I think that is incredible juxtaposition. Her friend and colleague, Dr. Marlena Evans, who is one of my favorite characters of all time on television, she comes in with a curtain bang and a plum blazer. Kayla's surprised that Marlena isn't at home with her husband, John, who was just rescued from a spy mission gone awry in Estonia. That's what John's been up to, naturally. Marlena reveals John isn't at home. Dun, dun, dun. You are thrown right into the deep end of, this is like a 4-line scene. We're not staying anywhere long. You need to get ready to just pick up and move.
I was blown away by how it started. I was like, wait, was that previously on? Because it like was the shortest scene I've ever seen.
Yes.
And what I loved, and I'm glad you gave me all this, you just said all this because I didn't know any of that backstory.
Yes.
But the way the doctor said, she goes, Marlena. Like, there's just like, I'm like, no one ever pauses between, like, when you're syllables. Saying syllables of someone's name. But now it makes sense because she was so shocked.
Surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a theory that the actress playing Dr. Kayla Brady with the pink glasses, I have the theory that she was fighting for her life to get through these scenes. I mean, she was really, we're going to get to a scene where she was clinging to any semblance of dialogue that was written for her, I think.
I got a similar sense. As well.
So the message from the first scene, John is supposed to be at home, but isn't at home. Cut to 3 men outside a meth lab. We've got Sean, who's in a leather jacket and slightly younger than the other two men, Steve in a leather jacket and an eye patch, which is how we distinguish him from the other guy in a leather jacket, and then random Mohawk doctor, Dr. Russell, who's just like fully out of he has a gray Mohawk, which is shocking. They're outside this meth lab. They need to get inside and they're running out of time. Steve lights up as he sees someone approaching. A figure in a black hoodie walks from the camera and stands with his back facing us. Steve fist bumps him and Sean's stunned, and Dr. Russell is appropriately like, who the hell is this? And Steve introduces John Black, his partner, who's going to save the day. And then there's like a weird voiceover of John raspily going, that's a fact. And the one nugget of information I gave Dustin before watching this episode is that the actor who plays John Black is fully deceased. He passed away in the fall of 2024. I don't know when they filmed this episode, but like this is his like triumphant farewell. And I keep just being like, this is how we did it? Like just a man in a black hoodie who doesn't show his face and like weird pulled voiceover from other episodes. Also, he was on the show for like 50 years. You couldn't have found a better line than that's a fact. Like what? Where did you get this? Where did you get this audio?
I thought it was an amazing theatrical device to the black hood. Because you had told me like there's a guy who the actor is deceased. It's amazing because, I don't know, maybe you would expect them to use a little bit more tact or something.
Yes.
But
no, it's just body double in a hoodie.
Well, and then I feel bad for that actor who's like playing, like the guy is like, it's like just stand there.
Literally.
And we'll get into it but then he's just like fussing around with things upstate.
He's just in the corner and everybody's like patting him on the back, being like, good to see you, John. And I'm like, this is not how anyone the fist bump Steve gave him was completely out of character. I'm just like, guys, be so for real right now.
Yeah, the fist bump, I was like, this man has never fist bumped anyone in his life.
No. So yeah, the way they sort of covered him being gone for the last several months of episodes was that he was missing in action on this spy mission in Estonia because he works for the ISA, which is the International Security Alliance, obviously, Dustin, naturally.
I'm familiar.
So literally I was like, oh, that's brilliant. He goes missing in action. Like he ends up having died on this mission. And then they're like, John's coming home from Estonia. And I was like, John's not coming home from Estonia. What are you talking about? You can't, like, he can't come back from Estonia. It turns out that he can. He's just in this hoodie and then in this gas mask and then in this, we'll get to it. We'll get to how they obscure him the rest of the episode. So basically they're like trying to break into this security system at this meth lab. And so, like, John gets to work and Steve explains to Dr. Russell, John's the dude who's going to get us into this lab. The guy who plays Steve is obsessed with the word dude, and I cannot handle it. He says the word dude approximately 3 times every episode, and it's nuts. So yeah, apparently John is the only one who can crack this security system. Sean comes back over and is like, John's working as fast as he can. He knows my dad doesn't have much time. And I'm like, give him a second. It's been 20 seconds and he can't show his face. Like he's working with a lot of barriers right now.
Yeah. And this is body double John Black. I mean, it's not even.
He's not at top form.
Yeah.
So now we jump to a hospital bed with said dad who doesn't have much time. He's been in a coma for several years because Sean, his son, accidentally shot him and now he's dying of sepsis.
Okay.
Sepsis has played a huge role in the episodes surrounding this like arc. Everybody's just like talking about how we need a cure for sepsis. And I'm like, is this sponsored by some like sepsis research agency? What's happening?
Yeah, maybe you're not getting those targeted ads for sepsis.
Maybe not. So this man in the hospital bed is Bo Brady. His wife, Hope, slowly applies lipstick and then strokes his face. He's unconscious still. She strokes his face and then kisses his limp lips. And when she leans back, he's just like covered in lipstick. And I was deeply unnerved by this entire start to this scene.
Well, yeah. Why did you need to apply the lipstick to kiss the
To
coma
kiss.
guy?
Right. She's also like wearing bright blue eyeliner, and like, not to judge what women of a certain age are and aren't allowed to do with their makeup, but I just wanted to be like, it's not a Zara Larsson concert. Like, you're at your husband's dying bedside.
Well, and it seems to be a family affair because the daughter comes in and
She has a look to her, doesn't she,
yes,
Dustin?
yes, and far be it for me to be definitely not me to judge the way any woman dresses at her father's deathbed, but
Yeah, yeah.
I had opinions.
We're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it in just a moment after a crazy flashback.
Oh,
Yeah, the flashbacks in this episode are next level. Okay, so Hope kisses her husband's limp body and then wishes him a happy anniversary. And she's like, Bo, I know you can hear me, so I'm just gonna keep talking and talking and talking. Then she immediately stops talking to have a flashback. She flashes back to their insanely 1980s wedding. She's rocking like a floral swim cap with the biggest veil in history attached to it. And he, I said, respectfully looks like Bigfoot. It's something about like the mullet and the beard. It was a choice. And she's remembering Bo's vows where he's talking about fighting for their love. My favorite part of the vows is that Bo goes, like the Archbishop said, it's not going to be sunshine and roses all the time. And I go, that's what the Archbishop said? What are you saying? Hope comes back to the present. She starts talking to Bo about how she can't believe he stole a milk truck and got arrested before their wedding, then stole a horse to get to the wedding on time. My question was it 1985 or 1885? What are you saying?
And I'll be honest, I was captivated in the flashback, and I was feeling for them. And so when it immediately cuts to her, and I wrote it down, I still can't believe you stole a milk truck. And I almost, I was like, oh my gosh, this is their wedding.
It's beautiful.
And then for those to be the first words that come out of her mouth when we're brought back to the current period.
Yeah, it's whiplash for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't. How do you steal a milk truck and a horse?
And a horse. I think he went to jail because he stole the milk truck and then had to get out of jail and steal the horse. But Frank, I wasn't there and I can't be bothered. That's part of why I've said this a couple times. I think watching Days of Our Lives is good for me. It's like a meditative practice of like letting go of the things I can't control, you know?
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, oh, that's not for me to know.
Well, and I mean, and how hard can your life be if you've never had to steal a milk truck and a horse just to make it to your own wedding?
That is such a good point, and no one's talking about that enough. Oh
yeah,
my God.
Who needs therapy? Just watch other people struggle.
Perspective, good perspective. So now this young woman comes in wearing a shockingly inappropriate outfit to say your final goodbyes to your father. But this is indeed Bo and Hope's youngest daughter, Sierra. She is wearing a low-cut black bustier top that's like sheer and a vague animal print and leather pants, and is immediately sobbing. And I'm just like, wow, like you came in hot.
Yeah. Well, and she's got a full beat on.
Yes.
Full
cat eye sharp enough to kill a man, to quote Taylor Swift. Yeah, she looks like she was on her way to the club and got the call that her father was getting his last rites.
Yeah, well, that's what I was confused about. I was like, I expected it to be like, she's like, I came as soon as the bar was closed. She's
right.
Like,
no.
I got on a plane. I was like, you got on a plane and flew here?
She's like, my husband and 2 young children and I flew here as quickly as we could. And it's like, yeah, she is redefining what young moms can be like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's powerful representation. So yeah, Hope is explaining to Sierra that they had Bo in isolation because he was dying of sepsis, but they took him out so that they could be together. And Sierra's like, does that mean daddy's gonna? And I just can't with adult women calling their fathers daddy. I cannot. And we have to stop it.
I have a big problem with daddy should be strictly limited to the bedroom.
Yes,
and
after a certain age.
Yeah, after a certain age, I think it should not be used to actually refer to your daddy.
No, it cannot.
If I'm talking to someone and they go, well, daddy always says, I go, daddy always says, I'm like,
you're a monster. What is wrong with you? Yeah, there's a character on this show who calls her dad Papa, which I also take issue with.
Yeah, I prefer people to either say mom or dad, or
I'm good with that.
Call their parents by their
first name.
Yeah, whatever.
So she doesn't want to say it, but they think Bo is going to die. Hope reveals that the priest gave Bo his last rites, but she thinks Bo's hanging on, waiting for the whole family to get there so they can say how much they love him. And then Hope fully lays her head on Bo's chest, but he's propped all the way up and she clearly doesn't give him any of her weight. So she's just like fully doing a flat back. Like it's like a physical feat of what she's doing. And they pull back into the sweeping orchestral intro, like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
I love it.
Incredible. Back at whatever Mission Impossible situation is happening at the meth lab, Dr. Russell is beside himself. He exclaims, I can't believe my entire supply of Versifix is being held at some degenerate's meth lab. And I just feel like if I had a nickel for every time that happens to me. So Dr. Russell's whole thing is that he invented this drug that is a miracle cure for sepsis. So it's all connected.
This is big pharma sepsis is
Literally
funding this episode.
Literally. The Versifix is what they need to save Bo's life, but it wasn't going to get through trials in time. Like it had to go through FDA approval, and we don't fuck with the FDA, I guess. So there were people who were trying to steal the Versifix out of the hospital lab to get it to Bo, but then it fell into the hands of this drug dealer and is now in this meth lab. That's what's going on with the Versifix. So Sean confirms they have the phone of this guy Leeds, who is the guy who like has the Versifix and I guess runs this meth lab, and they're going to be ready to confront him when they get inside. Back at the hospital, this is the scene where Kayla is really fighting for her life. Marlena explains to Kayla that, the guys were on a mission, and the guys are always on a mission, The mission was to get back this miracle drug that could help Bo, and so when John heard about it, he skipped his grand homecoming and went straight to help. And Kayla feels bad. She didn't mean for John to get roped into the whole thing. Kayla has been like in on the plan to try to steal Versifix because it's a possible cure, because Bo is Dr. Kayla's brother.
Right.
So she's like, I need it. The Versifix was stolen from the lab and we're trying to get it back so we can get it to Bo. And she goes, and now Steve and Sean are racing the clock to try to get it back. And I'm just like, oop, not quite the phrase. Not quite the phrase, my girl. Kayla is racked by the ethical dilemma of stealing a drug in early trials for use on her own brother, but she's desperate. And Marlena totally understands why John went to try to help Bo. Like everybody's just like, the stakes couldn't be higher. And Marlena goes, Bo was like he was a brother to John. It's just like, I also just think that's a confusing sentiment because like everybody on this show is related somehow, but like Bo and John were not brothers. They were like brothers. And I actually do think it's an important distinction in terms of dramaturgy.
I was confused by that for a moment because I was like, based on my little knowledge of soap operas, I was like, oh, maybe it was revealed that they were brothers and she had forgotten that fact.
But I don't think that's true. I mean, listeners, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there was a period of time where Bo and John thought they were biological brothers, but that ended up not being true.
So just brothers in the friendship sense.
Yeah, brothers in the frat sense. We have another flashback to another scene from the 80s with younger Kayla and Bo out at the docks. I don't know. Also, this show is set in a suburb of Chicago, so I'm like not 100% sure what the situation with all the docks are. Right. There's so much atmospheric haze. Like every scene they flash back to from the 80s, I'm like, why so hazy? Also, if I didn't know Kayla and Bo were brother and sister, I would 100% think that they were lovers in this scene. Like, I don't know if you thought maybe it was romantic, but...
And this is the scene where...
This is the one where Kayla's like, here, take Steve's leather jacket. And Bo's like, no, I couldn't. And Kayla goes, Steve always said this jacket is warm enough to get you through anything. And I'm like, what does that mean? If we're talking literally, no, it's not. It's a leather jacket.
Yeah.
I would have thought that it would be like this jacket is like strong enough to protect you from anything, but warm enough to get you through anything doesn't track for me.
No, it's not a parka.
No, it's not. It's not a Canada Goose.
No.
I have to assume that Steve was like presumed dead at the point of this flashback because Bo is very like, I can't take the jacket, but Kayla insists he take it. She watches him put it on, and the way she's looking at him, it's like she's lusting after him, which is why I was like, why is this so romantic? Whatever. Back in the present, Kayla goes off about how she goes on this like diatribe about how she and Marlena are such strong, independent women. But Steve and Bo and John have just always shown up for them in these extraordinary ways. And then she goes, the downside to all that heroism is the terrible not knowing anything, not knowing if they're going to be okay, not knowing if they're going to come back to us. And I was like, she is really digging herself through this scene.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it speaks to their one-take wonders.
Literally. Literally. And if you have to get lost a little bit and talk about the terrible not knowing, then like that's fine. And that's real life where you're just, and now we're talking about the terrible not knowing anything.
Yeah.
I think that's a potential. I didn't say this at the top, but because the episodes on Peacock aren't titled, like they're just titled by the season episode number and then the date, I like to try to come up with like what we would title this episode as we're going through the recap. And so keep that in the back of your mind.
Okay.
And right now a contender is the terrible not knowing. I think that's powerful.
That's much better than any titles I was thinking of. I was thinking about like meth and like.
No, keep workshopping that. Keep workshopping that. I think we could come back to it. So yeah, Kayla really lands the plane on the point that like she and Marlena have been so lucky that Steve and John have always come back to them at the end of these big adventures. But what if Bo doesn't get the chance to come back? And Marlena assures her they're going to stay optimistic. And Kayla breaks down in tears. And I said, possibly of relief that this scene is over. I just have to believe that sometimes it's a both and situation.
Yeah, wherever you can get those tears from, it's fine.
Back in Bo's hospital room, Sierra's explaining to her mom that, she and her husband, Ben, and their kids got on the first flight in. And this is when I was like, where are they? Where were they? Like, we're going to get the physical logistics of this is all very confusing to me.
Yes.
And we're going to get into more of it in a little bit. Hope asks Sierra to sit with Bo for a while. She'll be right back. They hug. And with the amount of black liquid eyeliner Sierra is wearing, I was very anxious about the proximity to Hope's bright white blazer.
Yes.
It just felt like an accident waiting to happen. But clearly she has the best waterproof eyeliner that has ever existed on the market.
Oh, she has. Yes. Well, it's because she's constantly crying.
Her face is so wet. This entire episode.
I don't mean to be too, but her tears were making her exposed breasts glisten. They were. Her tears had fallen down from her face onto her
to pool on her cleavage,
on her low cut blouse. That I couldn't help but see it.
I couldn't. Yeah, I don't think I could ever cry that hard.
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't have breasts to catch them, but
so you'll never know. Oh,
I'll
God,
never know.
That's so crazy that you'll never even get to try.
I think I could cry that much, but I just have never got.
There's nowhere for it to land.
No, I know.
I'm dead. Incredible observation. Yeah. So that's where we're going with this. Hope leaves. Sierra sits at Bo's bedside and begins to capital M monologue. She really just has her own journey on this episode. She starts talking about how weird it is to see Bo still. She's like, I'm used to you just throwing on your leather jacket and just going. And I'm like, that's a toxic father. If the number one image your daughter has is I'm throwing on my leather jacket and leaving, that doesn't seem like a healthy dynamic to me.
Well, yeah, I think she used the term, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but she's like, I'm used to you always being in action.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm like, what? Who's ever
Yes.
talked to anyone like that to be like, I'm used to you always being in action?
And now you're in a coma. And so it's really weird for me.
Yeah.
And then she's like, my husband, Ben, fixed up your old bike for me after I kind of sort of totaled it. I was like, what are we doing? A man is dying. And then she starts sobbing again and she cries out that she would give anything to fix her daddy. And I'm like the bike? What? Why? She talks about how she has dreams of them hitting the road or the open seas. Important context that apparently as a young family, Hope and Bo raised their kids on a boat for a period of time. So that's why she wants to hit the open seas. And I think Sierra and her husband are living on a boat with their kids.
Family tradition.
It's a family tradition, exactly.
And was this also the monologue where she said something? I love our family tradition of passing down names.
That's the next scene.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. But it's just the tradition of it all. I'm like, it's a very common tradition.
Before that, we have a flashback of like baby Sierra at like 5 or 6. And Bo is telling her that if she ever gets lonely, she can just hold her necklace and remember how much her mommy and daddy love her. And Sierra takes out one of her little barrettes, like bow barrettes out of her hair and gives it to her dad. And she's like, for when you miss me, you can know how much I love you. And then in the present, this is another thing of like a comment. She's like, I will always do that with my kids too. I will tell them I love them. I'm like, I'm sorry, maybe I suck, but that's not like a dad, you pass down that you need to tell your kids that you love them, and I will carry on that Brady tradition.
Yeah, it's a pretty low bar.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and maybe you know this, but just because of how long the show's been on, I'm like, Is that little girl this girl now?
No, that's a good question, but no, they always replace the child actors.
Okay, I assumed so.
Yeah,
I was like,
that would be amazing.
That would be well, and then I'm like,
it's not outside the realm of possibility.
Well, and then I'm like, maybe this is their actual daughter, because maybe these actors actually married each other, yes. And then they're like, hey, we got a kid,
bring her on.
And then she continued the family tradition of being a soap opera star.
Oh my God, so much tradition, layers of family tradition,
and
sharing love from generation to generation. Powerful stuff. So yeah, then we like zoom in on Bo from Sierra. We move to Bo, we zoom in on his face, and we fade to the town square of Salem. Bo's walking around. He's like amazed. He notices something on the ground. He kneels to pick up a pink hair bow, and he looks around and mutters, Sierra? And again, I'm just like, I get that this is a dream, but you see a little pink bow on the floor and you immediately remember like 20 to 30 years ago when your daughter did something cute. You're like, this is the bow she handed me. That's ridiculous.
But it also, the way the line goes is they've got some reverb on his voice.
Yes, he's like echoing.
Yeah, so it's like, Sierra. And I'm like, we get it. We know this isn't real.
We know it's not real because we saw him in the hospital bed.
Yeah, we don't need to throw reverb on this.
No, we know you're doing It's a Wonderful Life. Like, yeah, it's a little heavy-handed. And he looks around. He's like, what the hell am I doing here? Why am I in Salem? And I mean, it's helpful for Dustin Bronson watching this episode, having never seen an episode of Days of Our Lives before. But I wanted to be like, do we really have to announce, like, why am I here in my hometown? It's just like, we see where he is.
Also, so the town they're supposed to be in Chicago.
Yes, it is Salem, Illinois. I would argue the lesser of the famous Salems in America.
Well, that I'm like, could we have chosen a different name than Salem? I was like, because I was
Of
like,
course not. No.
I was like Salem, Massachusetts.
I wonder if like the choice in 1965 when Days of Our Lives began, if the choice to set it in Salem was to like rebrand the name, like the city Salem. But like a bunch of spooky shit happens in this Salem too. So I don't know why
Yeah.
we could have just avoided the confusion and called it like whatever, Pineview or something. I think that's on another
Oh,
show. I don't know.
Pineview would have been great.
Oh, I think Pineview is the town in for a period of time the characters on Days of Our Lives were producing a soap opera. So it was a meta situation and the town in their soap opera was Pineview.
Oh my God.
That's where that came from.
Oh my God, this is art.
I know. Thank you.
It is.
This is art. Oh my God, this is art. Yeah, okay. So we've established Bo is doing an It's a Wonderful Life purgatory situation.
Right.
Meanwhile, in real life, in her home, Julie Olsen Williams is on the phone in a full white sateen pajama set, which I thought was a dangerous costuming choice because basic brain, sees that's the costume of a ghost. So I was like, Dustin's going to think she's dead because of her outfit, but she is alive.
And he's an idiot.
No. Because I said, why did they dress her like a ghost? That was unfair.
Why are there also so many women dressed in white?
Yes. Thank you.
Well, because in the beginning you have you have the doctor who's in a white coat naturally.
Yeah.
And then you have
Hope
the wife
in the white blazer.
Full white blazer.
Yes.
And then you have this other
Julie in the white
all in
pajamas.
white.
Yeah. What does it mean?
Well, and then a lot of the flashbacks, it's wedding dresses. It's a wedding. It's
ethereal.
It's drawing on the wedding gown.
Oh yes, it's a musing on the wedding.
Yes.
Costume. Totally.
Yes.
So yeah, this is Julie. Fun fact: Julie is Hope's half sister and stepmother.
Okay.
So Julie was dating this man, Doug. This was back way back. Julie was dating this man, Doug. Doug broke up with her and started dating Julie's mom.
Okay.
Doug and Julie's mom had a baby together, and that baby was Hope. And then Doug and Julie got back together. So they were both step sibling or half siblings and stepmom and daughter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Dustin said this is beyond me.
It is. It is.
So Julie's on the phone she's leaving Hope a voicemail. She's holding her phone crazy. Did you notice this?
I did not.
She's holding the phone like a walkie-talkie and she's cupping the bottom. There will be a screenshot of it on the So Are the Days of Our Lives Instagram page because I couldn't get over it. She's calling to wish Hope a happy anniversary on this most auspicious day, which was an interesting choice of words. Julie says, send Bo my love. She hangs up, she sighs, and she holds herself and looks across the room dramatically. And I said, I want to be her. Like, this is the acting I want to do. This is the career I want to have had.
Yeah. And, well, I mean, and how it's just her out there.
It's just her out there. One-sided phone conversation, and then just like the weight of the world on her shoulders. You feel it. You feel it. Okay, we jump back to the meth lab. So to position us, Salem is where most of the action takes place. Bo's hospital is somewhere else.
Right.
But like the meth lab, everything is in Salem.
Okay, great.
So back at the meth lab, fake John is still huddled by the security panel, and Steve announces, "Oh, it's a redundant security system. So the two alarms have to be disabled at the same time. John can handle one," and then a voice cries out, "And I've got the other one. And it's Hope in a different white jacket. This one is tweed." And then I immediately started crashing out because I thought Beau's hospital was in Greece. Like the last I knew, Beau was in a hospital in Greece. So
Oh,
then all of a sudden she's like, "Hang on, Sierra, I'll be right back." And 4 minutes later runs into the meth lab in Salem. And I'm just like, I ended up on message boards. I ended up on soaps.com message boards where all of these respectfully 70-year-old women were being like, "Where did Hope come from? I thought Beau was in Greece." And I'm like,
oh, so you weren't so
I was not alone.
okay.
Someone was like, "No, they moved him closer." And I was like, don't try to justify this bullshit.
Well, and what I thought was crazy, well, because I was like, I loved that entrance too, because I didn't know that Beau was maybe in Greece.
Yeah,
But I
that she
assumed,
has potentially crossed the Atlantic to get
yeah,
here.
but which maybe makes more sense about the costume change.
Thank you.
And it also goes to show that John Black is not very good at solving this thing because a transatlantic flight took place.
He's been working for 8 to 12 hours.
What I loved about that entrance was as if she had been hiding, waiting for a line to enter. She's like, they gotta say something so I can have an entrance line.
Yeah.
And so she's just like waiting there, and then it's like, because she had to hear all that other information in order to be able to.
She had to hear that it was a redundant security system. She had to hear that John can handle one and that they need someone to handle the other one. Yeah, it's perfect. They all have like supersonic hearing. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, back in Beau's apparently not Greek hospital room, Sierra has taken on the mantle of talking and talking and talking to Beau. She's going on about how amazing Beau and Hope's connection was and how much they endured. She's like, having to give up one child and then losing another. And I was like, I don't remember the details of this. And then they flash back to little Sierra with her parents at her brother Zach's grave. And I'm like, oh, they had a child named Zach who died. This is all the exposition I needed.
Yeah.
And then back in the present, Sierra cries out, "How, Dad? How am I supposed to say goodbye?"
I kept on thinking about the writers who are putting pen to paper.
Yes.
And like, is it one writer? Is it multiple writers? Like, what is the writer's room like?
It's definitely a team, but yeah, oh my God, to be a fly on the wall and to the person who wrote "How, Dad?" exclamation mark, "How am I supposed to say goodbye?" exclamation mark, and then was like, fuck yeah, nailed that.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Send it.
Send it.
Next
Print.
scene.
Meanwhile, in Salem Purgatory, Beau notices this vase of yellow roses that fell off the My Fair Lady style flower cart that's always in the town square. It's literally always there. And I'm always like, guys, we have to get rid of this. So he goes to pick up the flowers. They're also in a little vase.
Yeah.
He picks them up and then he shudders and he goes, "These flowers, they're the kind you bring when someone..." That's not good.
I was like, what's funny is those particular, like,
Yellow roses.
Nothing about those flowers said deathbed.
No! A little bulb vase of yellow roses.
Yeah, it said more like small gift for mom.
Happy Mother's Day. Yes. Totally. Nothing about them, was like, this is an omen of death.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, at the meth lab, Sean is stunned to see his mom. Yes, Hope is Sean's mom.
Right. And Sean is the one who accidentally shot his dad, and that's
Correct.
why his sepsis. Okay.
Correct. And so that's why he has all this guilt about causing his dad's coma. And so he's like, I have to get the Versavix to save my dad.
Right.
Which is also why it's like, Beau's been sick for months at this point. I mean, he's been in a coma for years and has been dying of sepsis for the last several months leading up to this episode. And the reason I'm like, oh, Beau has been in this European hospital is because no one goes to visit him. No one's able to go see him. They're all just like, he's so far away. And so I'm like, well, clearly he's within driving distance. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? I needed some time and place work in this episode. So Hope insists that when she heard what was going on, she felt like she had to get here right away. She's like, I didn't realize John would be here too. And then she like gestures, like John's still just in the back facing the camera. Shrouded, and she's like over her shoulder like, oh hey John, and I'm like, completely not realistic.
Well, and she said some, and maybe this was the last scene or something. She's like, we took care of one of these in Amsterdam together.
Yes, they're both on their spy game.
And then someone goes, she's a cop or something, and I was like, she's a cop? I was like, nothing was giving cop.
No, the way she applied lipstick before she kissed on her unconscious husband was absolutely giving former cop. That's the thing. They're all like former cops, current like spy independent contractors. Like they don't, they just work on a job to job basis. I mean, the gig economy, we've talked about it. It's striking. Americans of every ilk. So yeah, Steve's glad Hope's here because they need her and John both. Perfect timing. Back in her office at the hospital, Kayla like gives Marlena a cup of coffee, and she's this is maybe my favorite story of the entire episode. Kayla sits down and she's like, God, I remember when my mother started having memory issues and I signed her up for this clinical trial in California, and Bo drove her out there. And then when she got better, Bo went right back and picked her up just like he promised. And Marlena goes, that was so good of him to do. And I was like, okay, once again, the bare minimum. You tell your children you love them and you take your mother to California and then go pick her up when she's ready to come home. This is the great man. This is the great man we're fighting to save.
Yeah.
Guys, what? I mean, crazy shit has happened on this show, and just a drop off and pick up in California is the thing that we're like, God, I remember his good heart.
Yeah.
I can't. Kayla then is like, Marlena, you should go home and get some sleep. I was like, you literally just handed her a mug of coffee. Like, what? Why would she leave now? She has a fresh cup of coffee. Marlena says she wants to stay. You know, it was too hard waiting at home for John to come back. So she's just going to wait at the hospital until she gets a call from her stepson that John's home from his like side quest. Convenient, as we will find out later. Kayla then assures her John's going to do what he's always done, get his mission accomplished, and then return home to the woman he loves. And Marlena takes what I believe should be an Emmy Award-winning inhale as she fights back tears. She does, I don't know if you clocked this moment, but she literally, it's like the tail of a scene, and she just is like, and then bravely nods. And I was just like, wow, that's the best acting I've ever seen.
Yeah.
No.
The thing is, and then I'll say this about the acting, and I think that they're some of the hardest working people out there.
300%.
The difference between Oscar-winning performances and that is lighting.
Yes!
It's lighting.
Yes!
Like, some of it is just lighting.
It's literally
and costuming and whatever.
Lighting and soundscape. Like the underscoring is what makes it seem like whatever, but like this woman is my everything.
Yeah.
Back at the meth lab. I love saying that, by the way. The amount of times I get to say back at the meth lab. Hope just does one of the weird, like, pat John on the back. Let's get ready to disable this incredibly sensitive security system, which is just like 2 electrical panels on 2 walls right across from each other. And I want to be like, wouldn't they be further away? I mean, I don't know what a redundant security system is supposed to be like, but she's like, okay, let's get ready. She counts down from 3. They cut 1 wire. That's it. But also her timing was terrible because she like cut before she said 1. It was nuts. She was like 3, 2, and one, and had already cut it. And so I'm like, there's
That's
no way John couldn't have been in sync because he can't look at you because he can't turn his head toward the camera.
that's why it was so great that their relationship was established and that they had worked on this before in Amsterdam, because they're so in sync.
You're so right, Dustin.
That John doesn't even need to be aware. He's barely aware of her presence with that hoodie.
Correct. He doesn't acknowledge her. He doesn't even like wave. He knows she's gonna snip on the O of one.
Yeah. Well, and it was so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
This redundant system that was so hard to get into. I was like, that's it? That's it?
Yeah, that's it. And no one, not Dr. Russell, not Steve, not Sean, nobody could have done what they just did.
Yeah.
They have disabled the security system. They're going to go enter the lab. Hope wants Dr. Russell to come inside with her and John so he can identify the Versavix. But she insists he stay behind them in case there's any kind of trap in there. And so they're getting ready to go in. Steve stops Hope to deliver an iconic piece of advice. He goes, "Get in, get out. You got it?" And I just wanted to be like, 10 out of 10 writing once again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Inside the lab, look, I don't know what's going on in meth labs. I'll be honest. I'll acknowledge my shortfalls.
Brave of you.
Thank you. But in this one, there's red liquids bubbling in beakers and tubes running every which way like hamster things. All the atmospheric haze I thought we left in the 80s is in this meth lab.
There's literally a beaker with ketchup like squirted in the upper half of it. I'm like, this is definitely not how you cook meth.
Yeah, because what are we supposed to believe the ketchup is? Blood?
Well, and also the setup of this redundant electrical alarm system, I'm like, this is going to be a sophisticated lab.
This is a garage.
This is going to be clean. This is going to be, and it's like Spirit Halloween. Like
green. What? It's like green and red. Yeah, the lighting is crazy. It's so hazy. That can't be how you cook meth, is just like, no, more smoke, more haze in the room.
We need more colored stuff. Like, could we like
blues and reds and purples and greens?
Every primary color we need to have. That's how you add all the primary colors together and it turns into crystal white meth.
Perfect. Yes, we did it, everyone. The ketchup was just for snack time. Meanwhile, hidden among all of the alleged meth paraphernalia is a guy sleeping against the wall that no one notices, who we have to assume is this guy who they're looking for. Hope leads the way in. She grabs a protective suit off the wall, like a hazmat suit. And I was like, she doesn't notice him because she's probably like can't see anything through the atmospheric haze.
I loved the toughest acting that took place was them pretending not to see that man while they're searching this room.
Absolutely. 100%. Because he's just in the middle of the room, propped up against a wall.
There's nothing obscuring him.
No, absolutely not. They're just distracted. Meanwhile, outside, this is also one of my favorite things. I don't know if you noticed this. Because of the set they were on, like there was no separation between the outside part where Sean and Steve are waiting, and like that door opens and that's just the room they were in. So you can actually kind of see Steve and Sean outside the whole time. And I'm like, what's the delineation? Like, so meanwhile, like Sean's outside just like pacing, being like, am I doing the right thing? Like, oh my God. And I'm just like, be quiet for a second. They're working. Like as soon as they're out of sight, he's just like, oh my God, should I go be at my dad's bedside for whatever time he has left? And I'm like, give it a second. It's not even like, okay, they've been gone 20 minutes. They're right there. Steve assures Sean that, clearly Hope believes in what he's doing because, she wouldn't be here otherwise. And this is where he talks about her being a cop. He's like, they found out in a previous episode that this Leeds guy who they're looking for in the meth lab, when Hope was a cop, she arrested him when he was a minor, and she like helped him try to like get back on the right path, which clearly didn't work.
Right.
No offense, Hope. Steve's like, maybe Leeds will connect with her now that she's here. Steve ends the scene in what I thought was kind of a weird riddle. He goes, look, Sean, I know you're scared. I know you blame yourself for what happened to your dad, but when it comes to Bo Brady, failure is not an option. And I was like, okay, not a sleigh, but like Sean's nodding, like he got something out of it, but I don't know what the lesson in that was supposed to be. Just like failure is not an option.
Not in this family.
So we have to get the drug, or like Bo's never gonna die. What's happened? What are we
Yeah,
implying?
failure is death.
Failure of life is not an option. Back inside the meth lab on the other side of this door, in a brilliantly convenient strategy for keeping John's face obscured, the team inside has put on the full bodysuits, hoods, and gas masks. They're, as you mentioned, searching for the drug, looking everywhere but the one wall where this leads guy is completely unobscured. Dr. Russell has gone fully rogue and is wandering off by himself, and Hope hasn't noticed. Dr. Russell wanders right past Leeds, spots the tray of vials, and just shouts so loudly, "That's it!" Leeds immediately wakes up, jumps to his feet, throws Dr. Russell across the room, knocking all kinds of ketchup bottles and other stuff over. And as they grapple, the room gets even hazier. Like the room senses
like
panic.
Green haze.
Yes, evil dark energy haze begins spewing out of the vents. Now, in Bo's hospital room, here comes the best tangent of her monologue. Sierra begins talking about how she loves the tradition of them giving everyone in their family names of other family members. She starts by going, "I remember my brother's name was originally Isaac Theo Carver. Then you put Beauregard in front of it, and you still called him Zach." I was just like, what?
Well, and then I was questioning, and I never have thought about this, is Zach short for Isaac?
Never have I thought that. But literally after that, I was like, I guess you could use Zach as a nickname for Isaac. Isaac.
Yes.
I also love, like, you put Beauregard in front of it, but still called him Zach. I'm like, why did you need to take us through the etymology of this one family member who's, I'm sorry to say, dead? Like, not around anymore.
Yeah. What a crazy name.
Yeah. Beauregard Isaac Theo Carver, but we call him Zach.
I'm every time someone introduces themselves as Zach, I'm gonna be like Isaac.
And they're gonna be like, no, it's Zachary.
Yeah, yeah.
No, you crazy man. So yeah, we go on the whole Zach kick, but then she's like, I call Doodlebug, that's my nickname. And I'm just like, get out of here. We have to stop this. Doodlebug and Daddy, it's gotta stop.
Yeah, I don't know what is Doodlebug?
I think she was implying his nickname for her used to be Doodlebug, but she said, I call Doodlebug, which doesn't make sense. Just doesn't make sense. Then she goes on and on about how she didn't always live up to her middle name, Alice, who was this like matriarch of the Horton family.
Okay.
She's like, I took things for granted and I didn't always appreciate having a place as special as Salem to come home to. And I'm like, yeah, you were kind of a bitch, I bet, based on the way you're dressed, not to make judgment. Not to judge a book by its cover.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Back we go to Salem Purgatory. Bo peeks into the window of Brady's Pub, the family restaurant. Oh my God. This is where we go full It's a Wonderful Life. He sees Steve and Kayla, his sister and brother-in-law, having dinner at a table. And Bo goes inside just as Kayla takes a big bite of chowder. And they talk about, oh, you know who loved mom's chowder the most? And Steve goes, your brother and my best friend, Beauregard Aurelius Brady. Just no notes on the name Beauregard Aurelius Brady.
Well, and my favorite thing that happens right after this is the oyster cracker
Food fight.
Throwing food fight. Like,
yes.
Like at first he throws an oyster cracker into her chowder.
Correct.
And I'm like, oh, bold choice.
They're making choices. They're playing.
But then it continues, and I'm like, okay, this is nuts.
So yeah. So meanwhile, like, Bo's standing over their table being like, Kayla, Steve, it's me, Bo. what? You can't hear me? Can't you hear me? Kayla, Steve. And they're just like throwing oyster crackers at each other. And I'm like, yeah, what a crazy fucking choice to make, to be like, I'm distracted, or like, this is our playful dinner where we're oblivious to the fact that our brother is crying out for us from the great beyond.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nuts. So then all of a sudden, Bo's locked out of the pub and he's like desperately banging on the door and crying out for them. And in his hospital room, all of a sudden, his eyes are like moving under his eyelids. His monitors start beeping and Sierra cries out for help. At this point, I notice she still hasn't taken her purse off her shoulder. She, like, that little bag has been on her shoulder the entire time. She's calling for a doctor. The doctor rushes in and just checks his pulse on his throat, just sticks her fingers on his neck. Nothing else.
About the checking of the pulse, because it happens later again.
It does.
And the man is hooked up to so many monitors. We know what his heart rate is.
Actually, the beeping we're hearing from the machine is his pulse.
Yeah. So I'm like, clearly there's not a medical consultant working on this show.
We have to get the pit team, like the medical coordinators of the pit. We need to do at least like a 1-day workshop with the team at Days of Our Lives, because so much stuff happens in hospitals, and yeah, literally the only choreography they know how to do is a 2-finger pulse check on the neck.
I've never seen a doctor do that unless the person is dead.
I think it's the juxtaposition of the chaos of the noise and the beeping and like the crying out, "Daddy, Daddy, don't leave me." And then just the simple, like, this is all we can do. The simple movement of the pulse.
I would love for a doctor to do that and go, "He's good."
Never. Oh, these are just on the fritz. Oh,
yeah.
He's fine.
God. I checked his pulse.
Meanwhile, there's a full-blown fire in the meth lab. We have introduced flames on set. This guy leads. He just kind of clumsily shouts out, like he's just like, "I'll kill you!" And then he lunges at Dr. Russell with a knife that came out of nowhere. John like jumps in and wrestles it away, always expertly keeping his back to the camera. And Hope just like keeps Dr. Russell in a corner while John and Leeds do like full blown freshman year fight choreography. Like it's very just like, ha, 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 nap, like follow through. I mean, I'm not going to say it's not impressive, but you very infrequently get to see that kind of theatrical stage combat on television.
Absolutely.
So John like waves for Hope and Dr. Russell to get out, and the fire blazes, and Hope pushes Dr. Russell out the door. And this is where I realize Steve and Sean are right there. She literally like shoves him and he goes through the door and runs into Steve and Sean. Hope tries to go back in for John, but the fire's too big and knocks her back. Very dramatic. Going to commercial. We come back from commercial. There's a team of firefighters in the meth lab. Steve's trying to push his way in, but they're holding him back. And then a firefighter comes out to deliver the news. They found a body. Dun, dun, dun. And that's when I wanted to be like, hopefully they found 2.
Yeah. I mean, well, and then I was like, did someone escape?
John escaped. He's going back to Estonia. No, unfortunately not. Meanwhile, back with Bo, he's stabilized, I guess. Sierra's texting on this 2009 ass phone, like a very not contemporary phone. The good for nothing doctor tells Sierra she gave Bo some medication to lower his blood pressure. So he's stable for now.
Wait, and this is something I clocked.
Yes.
I think it said gave him some medicine to increase his blood pressure.
Oh no.
And the only reason why I clocked this is because my mom was just like a few days ago in the hospital with blood pressure issues, and you're constantly trying to lower blood pressure, I feel like.
And they're like, twist.
And so I heard it as to increase his blood pressure. And I was
you
like,
may be right.
And I was like, do we do that?
Maybe it's a very sepsis specific issue where your blood pressure drops.
Absolutely. And
sepsis experts weigh in the comments.
Please.
Hilarious. Okay, so they have either lowered or raised his blood pressure. Whatever, he's stable for now. Sierra then looks right at Bo, but goes, Mom, where are you? I thought I really appreciated her choice to not do what you would typically do, which is like look up or something or look out, just deliver it directly to the unconscious person who's not your mom.
Yeah, she was speaking through her father to her mom.
Yes, I liked that. Hope's obviously busy at this meth lab fire, so she's outside. They bring John out on a gurney. Thank God he's alive. Dr. Russell, weirdly, very macho-ly, is like, I'm a doctor, let me look at him. And he truly just like takes a glance and is like, he's burned really badly.
The lack during this whole scene that's about to take place, the lack of urgency
Yes
was incredible.
Yes, everyone's just like standing around going like, we've really got to hurry and get him to the hospital. And I'm like, then move.
It's literally like people are saying that and then they're like sitting back on their back foot.
Yes, and like holding him and being like, John, it's going to be okay. And it's just like, now is not the time.
Yeah.
I loved this line from Dr. Russell. He goes, the suit didn't protect him, but John saved me. And then Steve goes, and now we have to save him. But again, we're not moving. Like, we're staying still.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kayla gets off the phone with Sean and has to break the news to Marlena that there's been an explosion and John's been hurt pretty badly. And I, again, think Marlena delivers an incredible reaction where she silently cocks her head and narrows her eyes in shock, as if to communicate, I don't believe what you just said. Meanwhile, again, the firefighters are just like loitering in the back, even though everyone's like, we gotta go. John's friends surround him to wish him well, and John opens his charred and blackened palm to reveal the vial of Versavix. Hope reaches her perfectly white nails into his hand, again with the white and the whatever we're saying about black charred hands, white nails. Powerful. Yes. Not sure what it is, but it's powerful.
It's imagery.
It's imagery for sure. And John grips her and goes, go save Bo.
Yes.
Powerful stuff. Back at Julie's, she's again out there all on her own. She's talking to a wedding portrait of Bo and Hope, a framed picture, going on about how it's been a winding road, but they helped each other along the way. Another flashback to Julie in another insane white ensemble, like a ball gown with an insane sleeve situation. Julie thanks Bo for giving up his dinner companion. I have no context for what this could have been, but she slips him a note and Bo reads the note and it's like, meet at our secret place, Hope. And I'm like, subtle. So like clearly there was some Julie helped Bo and Hope get together. We love to see half sister, stepmother and daughter teaming up for love.
Yes.
There are so many negative stereotypes around stepmothers who are also your half sister, but they really have broken the mold. Heroes in the genre.
Yeah.
Now, Julie grabs a picture of her late husband, Doug, and asks if there's anything he can do to help Bo and Hope, any cosmic favor he can call in. Now is the time. And she clutches the picture frame to her heart and throws her head back. And once again, I dream to be the level of actor this woman is. I'm obsessed with her. Also, fun fact, that man in the frame who played her husband on the show was her husband in real life. And he died a couple years ago.
And that's why it felt so real.
Yes, exactly.
And what I love too is it's clearly that actor's headshot.
100%. It's a press photo.
Yeah, it's like that's what that man was chucking around for years.
Yeah.
It's amazing they got his name off the bottom of it.
Cropped it out of the frame. Yeah, 100%. They do that a lot where it's like, oh, everybody has a lot of like glamour shots of the actors on the show framed in their house.
Yeah.
Now, Hope and Sean come rushing into Bo's hospital room. So they've either gone one town over or flown to Greece. Not 100% sure. They say they've got the drug that could save Bo, and Hope tells Bo to keep fighting because, damn it, we're fighting for you. I want to be like, give the man a break. I promise he's fighting.
Yeah.
Why would you
in
think he's given up?
purgatory.
Yeah, for real. He's fighting across oyster cracker food fights. What do you expect
Yes.
from him? Now, at the hospital that I can conclusively say is in Salem, not in Europe, Steve finds Dr. Russell to tell him that Leeds guy is dead and that in addition to John saving his life, John saved his life's work, which I think is incredible wordplay. Steve hands over a box that has all the Versavix samples. So John didn't just take the one vial. He like protected the tray with his body in the explosion. And then Steve breaks down in tears because he's worried about his friend. And I really cannot stand to see this man cry. And for the entire rest of the episode, you can tell it's fucking up the placement of his eye patch because he's crying. So he's like futzing with the eye patch for the rest of the episode. And I just can't emotionally handle it. Meanwhile, Marlena and Kayla are with John. And again, I hate to call it strategic, but it does solve the issue of the fact that we don't have John the actor. He's now in a full face bandage.
Incredible. And is this the scene where they describe his vocal cords have been burned? So like amazing coverage of
Literally.
the fact that it's a different.
And so she says he inhaled so much smoke that his vocal cords are damaged, and he has third-degree burns over 30% of his body, which I again, not a doctor, 30% is a lot, but not that much. So it's strategically the 30% that is his face, neck, and arms.
Yeah, that would be identifiable if you need
Yes.
to replace this actor.
Literally. I'm just like, how did they reverse engineer? Like, okay, what are ways we can like obscure a body double? And they're like, okay, how do we get him in a full body cast? Oh, there could be an explosion at a meth lab. Like, I would just love to know how they reverse engineered that.
Well, and I'm curious what's going to happen with John Black. Because I kind of foresaw something like this happening. I was like, okay, they're in a meth lab. There's maybe going to be an explosion.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are they gonna just get another actor?
Like a full facial reconstruction.
Yeah, or like they'll be
situation,
like, they're like, we were able to recover, and it's just they're like, his face isn't gonna look the same.
Right, which they do all the time. They do that literally all the time. Yeah, and we're gonna circle back to it. I'm not gonna leave you hanging on what's gonna happen with John, because I've watched several weeks beyond this episode at this point now. Marlena's like holding John's bandaged hand. She says the kids are on the way, and Kayla asks if she wants to take a break in the chapel, but Marlena insists she just got him back. She's not leaving John. Not now, not ever. And I wrote, I am crying. I love her. Meanwhile, Julie's holding the picture of Doug, her late husband. She wishes him a happy anniversary as well. And I'm just like, oh my God, everybody got married on the same day. Jesus Christ. That must be why it's such an auspicious day.
Yes.
And then she's remembering all the things she misses and loves about Doug, like the love songs he used to sing. And then she goes, this is an incredible line. She goes, I hear them in my mind. I feel them in my heart. And that'll just have to do for now. They ate with that.
They did. Another line that she said that I loved is she said, you always looked at me with such, and she pauses, delight. And I was like, oh, that's like, it's like a little kinky. It's like a little.
Yes. Like, how can I say?
Yeah. You always looked at me with such delight.
Oh my God, that's so funny. She then like incredibly dramatically kisses her wedding ring and then shouts, till we meet again. And then she gasps like the end of Hamilton. Like that, she literally is like, end of scene. And I'm just like, the breath work in this episode is nuts. Now we're in the home stretch of the episode. Now back with Bo. The good for nothing doctor is going to administer the Versavix. Sean and Sierra are there with Hope. There's another sister we were allegedly waiting for, and we're past the point of waiting for her. We're going to do this now. They all take a deep breath and start saying the Lord's Prayer.
Well, I don't know if you caught this during this scene, There's a moment where Sierra looks directly into the camera accidentally.
During the Lord's Prayer?
Like, not during,
Or before?
I don't know if it's before, but it was during this scene where the whole family's there waiting. Like,
Oh, I didn't notice.
And she looks directly at the camera, and I was like, oh, they don't have time to do another take.
No, they don't. They have to make their day. We're getting through the Lord's Prayer, and we are calling it cut.
And they missed an opportunity because they go from doing the Lord's Prayer to the other guy, to John Black in the hospital. And I was like, is she going to continue it?
They made the, I think, good creative decision to stop before you get into the whole and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Like, that's not what this really is about. This is about unifying. I just want to be like, the Lord's Prayer is just like super, that's what you lean on at like your darkest moment. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm a cynic.
Well, I think it was they needed to get the pages out that day.
And they said, what does everyone know for prayer wise? Oh, everyone's off book on the Lord's Prayer. Great, let's do that one.
They're like let's Google Lord's like someone just Googled Lord's Prayer.
Common prayers.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. So that's the spirit that they call upon, is the Lord's Prayer. It fades into John's hospital room. Steve comes in. Marlena's holding his charcoal covered arm, begging him not to leave her. In a perfect moment for an inside joke, Steve's like, hey, Marlena, Stefano may have called himself the Phoenix, but he had nothing on John Black. I'm just like, Stefano was this like famous villain on the show, and he was always like the Phoenix, he rises from the ashes. And I'm just like, whatever, we get not the time. Read the room, Steve. Then, meanwhile, it does cue the epic synth keyboard montage of John's tortured and mysterious origins. This is the craziest montage I've ever seen. It's, first of all, a first-person point of view of him, like, staggering into an office and seeing the name John Black on a wall and being like, I'm John Black. Because he, like, arrived in Salem with amnesia, so, like, he didn't know who he was. Yeah.
That makes sense.
These are all moments of his, like, mysterious origins. So he's like seeing John Black on a wall, and then he's running on the beach, and then he's absolutely serving cunt in this military uniform. Like he's just like, it's great. He is posing in his little beret, and then he's a priest, and then he's on a Mexican pyramid, and then he's in a literal guillotine, and then he's in this like futuristic Xenon girl of the 21st century getup, which apparently is like a contraption that brainwashed him. Like I was again on the message boards being like, what the fuck was happening in this montage? And then they just keep flashing those same moments again and again and again. And then he shouts into a mirror, who am I? And punches it. It's so dramatic.
Well, that's what I couldn't believe. Like, I really appreciated the montage, but then the recycling of it, I was like, don't you guys have 40 years of material here? But like,
also, this was impactful enough that I could have gone one round through and been like, whoa, that was crazy. I didn't need it to loop.
Well, yeah, it looped and then it sped up.
Yeah, they're like, they won't know it's the same clip over and over again if we just play it faster and faster.
Yeah, I was like, surely they're going to reveal some other information in this montage. No,
it's just this. It's just this. But then back in the hospital, the bandaged John whispers, I love you, Doc, which is what he calls Marlena. And Marlena smiles, but then the monitors go crazy. And Kayla calls out, he's coding. I need a crash cart stat. And I was like, thank you. We're about to get some like real medical work done. But then she does just grab her stethoscope and check his pulse once again. Steve is like holding Marlena back, and she calls out to John that she's right there and she loves him too. And that's the end of the episode. Cliffhanger. Dustin, I hate to report that John Black does die in subsequent episodes. I'm sorry.
I had a feeling they were going to do that, but I was really hoping they'd just be like, different actor.
I know. I feel like they kind of avoid doing that for the like older actors who have been on the show for a long time, I wonder if it's kind of like a pay our respects thing where they're like, no,
Right.
the character's officially like killed off once that
Right.
actor passes away. Because they did this
We
similar thing with a couple of like the recent older actors who've died.
Yeah, they're like, we respected him enough to have the black hoodie body double stand with his back. So we don't want to. We that's the way we say
We
goodbye.
Thank you, actually, because as I said it, I was like, Olivia, what you're saying is nuts because they literally just the way they brought him back was the most haphazard way of like shoehorning someone into yeah, I just
Well, and because it makes sense though, because like for like these legends
yes.
of the show,
Yeah.
you don't want to disrespect them by being like, because you'd have people being like hashtag not my John Black or whatever.
That's very true. And it would be me starting that campaign
Right, right.
on the message boards that I'm now on.
It would be me also having just grown so attached to him via the montage.
Via the same 6 images you saw replayed over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, Dustin, what a first episode for you to ever have watched of Days of Our Lives. How do you feel? What are your takeaways? I mean, I know you said like when we first started talking, like you were bought in from jump.
Oh, I was bought in from jump, and I think I'm learning a lot about family traditions.
Yes.
From that, we need to pass down our names to our family members
and tell them we love them.
And tell them we love them.
Yes.
And I also am feeling more liberty to show up to someone's deathbed wearing whatever I want.
Don't let the fact that it's their dying moment stop you from absolutely slaying your outfit.
Yeah, daddy's unconscious.
Daddy can't see what I'm wearing. Yeah. So I can rock my bustier and leather pants.
Yeah, and I can deliver a monologue over daddy's body.
No. No more of that. Oh my God, Dustin, this was amazing. Thank you so much for doing this with me.
Oh, it was my pleasure.
Hopefully, maybe we'll get you back for another episode, and maybe you won't stay out of Salem for too long.
Well, if you do bring me back for another episode, you'll be terrified to find out that I've watched all the episodes in between.
That you're caught up.
Yeah.
I mean, this is my long con of being like, I'm actually just trying to bump Days of Our Lives viewership and get millennials into Days of Our Lives again.
Well, and they need to get you in the writer's room.
My dream scenario is that someone from the show finds out about the podcast and then they like bring me on as like a podcaster on the show. But it would have worked when they were doing the storyline of like they were making a soap opera. Yes. My dream was like I was going to have a podcast recapping that soap opera. But now they don't do it anymore, and I'm pissed. So I need another in.
Well, it's all cyclical.
It'll come back. It'll get rebooted. The soap opera within a soap opera, like sands through the hourglass. So are the days of our lives. Oh, thank you, Dustin. Is there anything you want to plug in terms of your fruitful career and or life and or anything else going on?
I'll plug my wife's show.
Yes.
Isabella is currently in rehearsal. Just started rehearsal for Little Women at the Guthrie.
I wish I could see it.
And I'm lucky enough to be understudying that show. So
no way.
Yeah. So I'm.
Oh my God.
I was supposed to be doing another show, but then unfortunately theaters closed and sad things. But I'm going to be getting paid to watch my wife kill it on stage. So.
I love that. Oh my God. Yes. Everyone go see Isabella Star LeBlanc in Little Women at the Guthrie Theater. Yes, if you're in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul, or the surrounding Midwest. I don't know where people listen to this show from.
Yeah, I will plug. I am going to be doing private lives at the Guthrie.
Oh my God.
It's the final show of their season.
Cool. But, so like towards the summer?
Yeah.
Summer 2026. Cool.
Yeah, a few months from now.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. Folks, if you're listening, wow, thanks for listening. Like and follow and subscribe to the podcast or whatever people say. You can follow the podcast on Instagram at So Are the Days Podcast. You can follow me on TikTok at Days of Our Live. That's me.
Clever. That is
Thank you,
so,
thank you.
so clever.
Guys, if you go to my TikTok and you scroll down a little bit, there is an iconic video of Dustin dancing that's on my TikTok. That's on the same account.
Oh no, oh
He
no.
makes an appearance.
Oh no.
Those were the days of our lives, everybody. Goodbye.